Okay, hopefully you can hear me now. My mic was off, I think. Here, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm up here talking. You guys couldn't hear me, man. Thank goodness for my producer Nina Glow looking out for me. Anyway, Nina Faithful, is great to have you back on the 49ers Street Squad. We got lots to talk about with the 49ers, and there's so much news and everything to cover. And, we only got about a good hour to do all this. But first of all, before we get started, I'd like to introduce to you a wonderful guest that is a 49er faithful. And let me tell you something. When you see this guy, you see him on TV all the time, probably on videos, people's music videos, and just photos. He's always been blessed to be around some of the greats of the old 49ers, like Montana, Jerry Rice, and everybody. Yeah, I'm a little jealous. I ain't gonna lie. But he's a great friend, and I really appreciate him being on the show and taking the time to be with me and the show. And so let me introduce to you my man, 49er Mark from the Niner Faithful, man. Let me bring him on in here. Niner Mark, how you doing, man?
Hey, thank you very much for having
I went a
me.
little mute there for a minute, huh?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was going on. I wasn't sure if it was like how you intro. Do you start the show? I don't get to hear the intro, but hey, it's all good. And again, thank you very much for having me on and your show, the Street Squad. We've had a chance to talk many times at different events. Last big one was the NFC Championship game down in LA when we were down at the bar together. And I appreciate the offer of coming on and you letting me talk with you.
Hey, it's great to have you, Mark. And let me tell you, I appreciate you, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like I said, you're a very iconic fan to this 49er fan base. I don't know if you know that. And all the faithful, if they don't know you, they recognize you because of that wonderful 5-time Super Bowl champ ring that's on your head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that sticks out pretty loud. You know what I'm saying? And that's awesome. And the only person I could think of that could probably touch you is, of course, Banjo Man. He's always been around doing this thing
Yeah,
for you
he's an
like many
icon.
years. And every 49er fan knows who Banjo Man is. Okay, he roams around the whole state. I remember back in the days in Candlestick, he
Oh
was
yeah.
walking around the whole stadium. He's playing his banjo, taking pictures with everybody, even at the tailgates. He
It
would be
wasn't
out there
watching a
playing.
49er game at Candlestick if you didn't see Banjo Man playing in the stands,
Exactly.
and representing.
Exactly. So that's why, I say, and I put 49er Mark up there with the Banjo Man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I'm
you give
walking
me
by, I
some
know I see you.
you give me some big shoulders to try to lean against there with Banjo Man, but I do appreciate it. Part of it is I loved Candlestick. I mean, my first game was probably back in the early 90s. A real good friend of mine took me, and it was a preseason game against the Rams, and it was raining like crazy. And
Oh, wow.
luckily for us, the tickets he got us, we were up under the lip. And
Oh,
so,
yeah.
it
You
wasn't so
protected.
bad. But
Right.
before the game, we had planned a barbecue, and we were in a truck, and we just sat in the camper shell the whole time. We couldn't even get out; it was that wet. But
Yeah.
that was my first ever game that I went to. Like I said, that had to be back in about 1986,
Oh, wow.
and then I didn't really get to another game until '97.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, man. So that's some good nostalgia right there. Some good 49 history right there, right?
Well, when you got a good friend, and I do, I give him all the credit because he was the one that said, "Hey, Mark, let's go to the Niners." And he's the guy, the first ever. His name is Rolly. I don't know if he's out there listening. I did tell him, but
Uh-huh.
when you have somebody that says, "Let's go to a game," and you get your first chance, I'm so
Right.
glad I did. So glad I
So
did.
you know what? I'm glad that you brought that up because you know what? One of my first questions was going to be to you is like, how and when did you become a 49er faithful? And so was that right around that time when that first game you went to, or
No,
before then?
I hate this part of the story because it sounds cliche, but you know what? It is what it is. My first vivid memory. I was living in Stockton and with some friends, and it was the game where Dwight Clark made the catch. And we were four of us were young, right out of high school, junior
Oh,
college, community
oh yeah.
college, watching the game, eating pizza, watching it, and that's my first. But I was a fan. slightly before then too. You know, when what Bill Walsh, what he came in around 77,
Mm-hmm.
78, and started to turn the team around a little bit, and of course Montana came in 79, and then
Mm-hmm.
Jerry was after that. But the catch is my first really first vivid memory that I'll always somehow relate in my head.
Yeah, that's always awesome, because when we play back and watch that great throw from Montana to our boy Clark, man, and when he caught that bad boy, I mean, Niner faithful just lost it. They
Oh yeah,
lost
we were
their
we
mind. You watch it on tape, man, I get chills when I still see that.
Yeah,
I
I still
do.
remember being in my friend's apartment and we were in the living room and two guys, two girls, and that catch happened. We were four of us are all jumping up and down. It was just memories.
Right, right. Yes, man. Hey, that's when it all began, man. That was when the dynasty first started, and it took off. Like the Niner Empire, everything. Well, we weren't even at it was the Niner faithful back then, before Niner Empire, but it
Yep.
just dynasty just took off, and it started basically with them too. I mean that's how iconic that catch was, and why you today we see the statues at Levi Stadium, Montana throwing to Clark, right? Because he's like, that was the beginning of the dynasty, man. The 80s, the dominant 80s that the Niners ran. You know what I'm saying?
Well, back in those days, what were the fan base was known as the wine and cheese crowd.
Oh yeah, yeah. Cause
You
we
know,
started getting spoiled after a while because
the
every year we were like going to the playoffs,
and it was
so it was
white wine
almost
sippers.
expected. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, they kind of I don't even know how that name even came about or who gave us the name or wine cheese Niners or whatever. I used to be I guess was kind of offended by that. I was like, man, I mean, I like some wine and cheese, but I ain't at the game drinking wine and cheese, so I don't know where
It was
they
all
get that
beer,
from.
beer and burgers and brats. Yeah, I think you know what? I bet you it was like other team fans that were jealous that we were starting the dynasty.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, we ruled, man. We ruled in the '80s. You know,
Yeah,
uh, like you said, the first Super Bowl in '80, right? And then against the Dolphins, that was in what '80? I want to say
that
'84,
game
if
was
I'm
at
correct.
Stanford. That game was played
Yeah,
at
that was at
Stanford.
Stanford, and that was around the time when I first became a Niner fan. Uh, was around that
Oh,
time because I got hooked by a friend of mine kind of turned me on to the Niners, because I being from New England, born and raised, I was always a Patriot guy, but the Patriots used to have a tight end. I want to say, I hope I get his name right. I want to say Russ Francis,
didn't
and
Russ Francis play for us too?
exactly. And he played that time of year. So when I heard the name Russ Francis, I said, wait a minute, Russ Francis, he used to play for the Patriots back then. And you know what, this guy, he showed up in my high school one day and was talking to everybody. That's why I always liked him. You know what I mean? I was like, man, Russ Francis is cool. I got to meet him. I was like, all right, And then when I heard he was playing the Niners, I kind of thought, oh, that's cool. He's with the Niners now, So I said, I got to be a Niner fan. You know what I'm saying? I
Well,
think
there you
that's what
go.
kind of triggered. That's what kind of triggered me to start being on 49er faithful. You know what I'm saying? And then I got into, of course, Joe Montana and Jerry. Later Jerry Rice came. But Clark and everybody. Those were some great years.
That
So
sounds like it was the ability for you to bridge from your New England Patriot days, and then I'm assuming you moved out here to the West Coast, and you
uh-huh.
followed Francis. I think he actually, if my memory serves me right, I could be wrong, but I think Russ Francis ended up becoming some sort of doctor.
Oh, did he? Oh
Well, there
wow.
was a tight end. There was one of our tight ends that became a doctor, and I have a feeling it was Russ Francis.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, man.
but I can't look that
I
up
have to
because I
look
got my
that up
phone.
now. Now that you told me, I have to. I gotta see whatever happened to him because a lot of these players after they kind of leave playing football, some of them either end up becoming these commentators, find themselves behind the desk and talk about football, and sometimes they they just move on to many coaches, they move on to different things, later on in their life. So but yeah, man, Russ Francis, man, I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, wow. I said, man, I like these Niners. You know what I mean? I like their colors, man. The red action, red and gold, man.
Red and
So I
gold.
just got hooked, man. I got hooked, and then next thing you know, yeah, they played in the Super Bowl against Miami, and I'm going, okay, and they were hyping the hell out of quarterback for the Dolphins, Dan Marino,
Dan Marino.
and I was like, what about Joe? Y'all ain't saying nothing about
Yeah,
Joe.
they ain't saying nothing about
I'm like,
Joe.
what's wrong with you? But he was getting all of that because that was a good year for them. I mean, he was like all the talk all over ESPN news. They didn't have NFL Network back then, but he was all over the news, hyping him up. And then the Super Bowl came. He was getting all the notoriety, and attention. I was just like, oh, okay. So you're just gonna overlook Joe, who already
It's
won
kind
a
of like
Super Bowl.
it's kind of like this year and lately. Sometimes it's good to be the underdog. Sometimes it's good to be the under the radar kind of
I
guy.
like that. I like being underdog, man. I have no problem with that. That's why and I'm glad you brought that up because last year, we kind of started out good, but then we kind of went a little sour and, injuries and whatnot. So we had a little up and downs, right? But hey, it all came together at the right time. Everybody got healthier, and then next I think it was actually after that Chicago game, we kind of went on a run. And next thing you know, the boys were feeling it.
I think that lack of health, that bad health at the beginning of the season throughout halfway. Hey, look, I can see people's names.
Yeah,
I saw somebody. I
Nana
saw
Monica
Gloria.
checked in. She knows you.
Gloria that came in first.
I told you you're popular, Mark.
I meet so many faithful, so many fans, and I really appreciate everybody. And like you said, the ring hat is a giveaway, and people come up and say hi to me all the time. And one of the most terrible things I have about me is I'm terrible with names. And I used to coach Little League baseball, and I used to coach youth basketball. And until I gave those kids my own nickname, I could never remember their real name. It'd be, hey, Swifty, or hey, Lefty, or hey, Hoops,
right.
or,
You're the same like me. I don't
Uh,
remember names for nothing, man. That's why if I don't write it down, I'm going to be like, and I get embarrassed, I'm going like, but I'm good with initials. So it's like, oh, AJ, what's up? I like to call everybody by initials because for some reason I can remember initials, but names are tough for me nowadays too.
What blows me away though is I've had probably about maybe 10 times or less where fans have actually walked up to me where I've been doing something maybe a little bit different. Like one time I was at the museum and I had the hat on, I wasn't painted up. And even one time I was at the stadium with nothing other than my Niner shirt and gear, no ring hat. And people have come up and go, hey, Mark. And I'm like, what? How the heck did you recognize me?
I told you recognize, man.
Without a ring hat on. And then other times, some people look right at me with my ring hat on. They don't have a clue. Oh, hey, you're just a guy with a hat on. But you know what? That's what makes it fun. That's what, for me, that's what it's really all about.
That's awesome, man. And speaking about that wonderful hat, 49er faithful fans want to know, how did you ever come up with the idea to put together that big old ring hat?
So we got time for a story?
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, what happened
share a little bit with us.
I'll try to make it quick. Tell me if I'm going too long.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Take your time.
So what happened back in 2010, the NFL and the players, they had the lockout. And the San Francisco 49ers could not use the players to do any of their marketing material. So they sent out a letter to the season ticket holders. And by that time, I had finally, a friend of mine, we used to go to the games on her tickets. And I had finally, she moved to Florida. So I took over her tickets. And I was still sitting up in section 4, upper all the way to the top by the lip at Candlestick. And so we got this letter and says, tell us your story. Tell us why you're a Niner fan. And we're going to pick a bunch of fans to come in and do a bunch of marketing information materials. And the real big hook was 10 fans or 10 groups of fans were going to get on the tickets for that season. And of course, I was like, wow. So I wrote my story. And one of the big things about what I wrote was that my children were not allowed to say the word Raiders. Hate the Raiders. Sorry, I just do. It's the way it is.
Yeah. Don't say that word. Okay.
And if they said the R word, they had to go stand outside on the deck. And if it was raining, they had to rinse their mouth out. But anyway, I did that. I did it. I got chosen to go with a lot of other people. And as they were talking to me, they said, hey, can we body paint you? And I was like, I was younger and skinnier. I said, sure. So they body painted me from the waist up, my head and everything. And they had me scream and yell, did all these photos. And then they said, hey, sorry, we don't have any towels or anything to clean you off. I said, that's all right. I'll drive home like this because we were over in Livermore. That's where we had to go. So I drove all the way back to San Jose and surprised my wife and kids, and she took some photos. And so in the end, I didn't get it on the ticket, which I was kind of bummed about. But what they did was, it was one of our last games that was a preseason game against the Raiders at Candlestick, and they put me in a full-page ad. I know I was in the San Jose Mercury in the sports page, the whole full page. And I don't know if they put me in the Chronicle, but anyway, that's how they ended up using me. But then everybody I met, they had people. They had one of the wrestlers guys. He was on little schedules. I met some really great friend. Her and her dad were on the side of a bus. So we did all of that. Then they turned around and sent an email again and said, "Hey, there's this big national contest going to be run by Vix NyQuil. It's called the Vix NyQuil Most Dedicated Fan Contest, and they need one fan from every team." And so I read everything, and it was quite intensive because you had to do Facebook, you had to do social media on Instagram and Twitter, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. And I used my photos that my wife had taken me when I drove home, and I wrote another story, and I got chosen, and to represent the
Wow.
Niners. And I went up against one fan from every single team, and one of the key things was you had to do a game face photo. You had to eventually take a photo of your room, of all your paraphernalia, and you can see a little bit of mine here. And then the other thing was you had to do a touchdown dance video. Well,
Hmm.
I'm like, well, hey man, you do a touchdown dance video. Where do you do it? In an end zone, in an end zone of your team stadium. So I contacted the Niners. I says, can I borrow Candlestick Park? And they said, sure. So they let me have Candlestick. I had to then create a dance for touchdown. I found a song by Chuck Similian, and it had some moves and the words to Jerry scoring touchdowns and
Right.
everything. So I put it all together, and a friend of mine went with me, and we went down there, and we had the Candlestick for like 3 hours. I ran up and down the field, and then I did
Wow.
my dance, and lo and behold, I actually won the contest because of that. And so I won an all-week expense trip to the Super Bowl when the New York Giants played the Patriots, and that was the year that we bobbled
Oh.
the ball. Kick returner bobbled the
Oh.
ball. Yeah,
That one still
yeah.
hurts. Yep. Hmm.
And so anyway, the year before the contest that I did, they just simply had people vote, and a gentleman from New Orleans, he entered, and he won it. And he actually was the man. God rest his soul, rest in peace, to my friend and Ryan.
Hmm.
And he made these hats for the New Orleans Saints, for his family, his wife and daughter, and then he was making some for friends in the SEC conference for college ball. And so when I got to Indianapolis, Mr. Castanon, there's a box here for you. And I
Hmm.
opened it, and there was this hat with a note and letter from Ryan. And no, he
Wow.
used to charge for them, and it took him a month to make them. And he made mine really quick in about 2 weeks, and it's smaller than the normal ones. So that's how I ended up with the ring hat, through the Most Dedicated Fan Contest, and
Wow.
through Ryan, who lived in the New Orleans area, and I've made good friends with his family, some other Saints fans,
Uh-huh.
the Dat champs out there, and Dat Pimp. How you guys doing? And
Right.
the whole thing. It's not only about meeting the faithful, but it's also meeting fans from other teams. But that's how I ended up with the hat. And then the next season at Candlestick, I was like, okay, I got the hat. They body painted me, so I body painted at Candlestick. But man, I'll tell you what, it's kind of cold out there at Candlestick when you got no shirt on and you're just, you
I
know,
know.
showing it off. And so I did that a few games, and then as we transitioned um, to Levi's, I was like, I might not be keeping the weight down, so I better figure something else. And so I said, well, I'll paint the face and just go with the face. And so the painted face and the ring hat was what started me out as I
Okay.
transitioned from Levi's or to Candlestick to Levi's.
Okay. Oh man. Well, that's a wonderful story, Mark. And I'm glad I know that because now I know the history behind the whole ring hat and everything. And thanks for sharing that story with us, man. That's awesome. That's interesting. I'm really that's really interesting. So you got the ring hat, okay? Now when did the kilt come in? The Braveheart action.
So I actually lived in England for 8 years, and I actually played American football while I was over there with some friends. They had some local teams,
Mm,
and one of my uh, teammates, our starting running back, he ended up playing football for the Scottish Claymores. Lo and behold, Tom Sula, who had coached in NFL Europe, I think he coached one of the teams in Spain for a while, and he actually ended up going over to Edinburgh, Scotland, and he coached for the Claymores. And so
Mm,
I had learned about this. And so one of the first chances I ever got to meet Coach Tom Sula on a season ticket holder engagement event, we went and had lunch at the headquarters.
mm-hmm,
I was talking to Jim. And so I had looked up some photos of him, and I had found him at an event. The Claymore's colors were like a bluish purple. And I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. And then he came in under Mike Nolan days. And then when Mike was out, and then our linebacking coach, what's his name?
hey, hey, Mark, hold that thought real quick for me. Just hold that because I got my right hand man just checked in. I want to bring him on
Okay.
in. You got to hear this story, man, because you're on a roll, man. I love it. But let me bring in my man. You know, he's the MC man of Empire Row, and I think I have to give him like another title because it's my brother from another mother, and he's boy, he's flashy. He's a flashy man, and I think I gotta get
Amy.
him a new name because he's kind of starting to turn out Vegas a lot. You know what I'm saying? And he's a lot of cool trips out there, and he's I think he's almost well known out there than he is here. But let me bring my boy Antonio Arvello.
What's
Antonio,
going on, guys? Mark, what's
going
going
on?
on? My brother Mark, too, in the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah. And you know what? I get to call him bro, and I get to call him my friend. Tony and I, we go back.
Oh yeah, see between the both of you guys, you know a lot of darn people. I could tell you that for darn sure. Both
Good to
of
see
you.
you, Billy Will. Miss you
Yeah, good to see you,
guys.
my brother. I'm glad you could join us, man. Jump on. Yeah. Okay. I had to ask Mark a few questions. I had to ask him about how he created the hat, which he just told me, and now we were getting into the Braveheart kilt that he wears around, so he was in the middle of that story. So I was kind of like all into, the 49er Mark documentary here. So I'll let him go ahead and continue. So I hope I didn't break your
Go
training
for it,
of
Mark.
thought there, Mark.
When it comes to looks, if I'm in my kilt and I'm standing next to Tone, he always looks good too. The guy's
Oh yeah, this
he,
brother's flashy.
he's a
I'm trying
fashionista.
to, he
Game day.
encouraged me to get my apparel right. You know what I'm saying? I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, this
Oh
brother.
yeah.
I when I first met him, I thought he got to be some music producer or something. You know what I mean? I said, this brother he's looking fire. He's looking
I
fire.
always ask Tone, are you tired of me showing up in the same look? And he goes, no. That's
Hey,
you're
hey.
49er Mark. Yeah, keep it going.
I thought people thought I was the bodyguard for Roddy Piper. I was like, man.
Roddy Pipe.
I say we got to get you a Niner Hot Rod shirt, and you're in right there. We got to do
I know,
Niner
huh?
Mark
Right?
and a Hot Rod logo. I think is what we do with that, bro.
You gotta get one
Exactly.
made.
Good
But
to
so
see
okay,
you
so
guys.
the
All
kill
right,
thing.
all right.
So
Good
the
to see
kill
you
we were
too.
talking about Tom Sula, and Tom Sula, we all love Tom Sula as the D line coach.
Mhm.
He through the Nolan days, the Singletary days, and then even the Harbaugh days. But then when Tom Sula became the head coach, I remembered the picture of him in the kilt, and I was actually going back out to England and Scotland, and so I walked up and down what's called the Royal Mile there in Edinburgh, Scotland, looking for kilts, and I finally found the one. It's funny, I found it in a little tourist shop. It was $25, and I said, "This is the right one. It's got red, it's got gold, it's got a little black, perfect." So I bought it, wore it for the season as kind of a homage to Tom Sula, and then what happens? He gets fired, and I'm like, "Oh shoot,
Yeah.
what do I do now?" A
Wow.
lot of my faithful friends, they were like, "You know what? Kind of a cool look. You should keep it. Just keep it." And so
Yeah.
I did, and you know what? It served me well, and it does have a good backstory, and and it stands out. So yeah, 49er Mark wearing the kilt. That's
Yeah.
the look.
Yeah, man. I you know what, for I gotta admit, for a good few seasons, man, I've seen you around, because obviously because of the ring. I was like, man, this is that brother again, man. He's got that kilt going on. I'm like, man, he representing strong. It's like I gotta introduce myself one of these days. And I think it wasn't until finally when I saw you at the we all were in Miami, right? I know we all were there for the Super
Here
Bowl.
in Miami.
That's when I bumped into you and I said, once I kind of learned your name, I was like, I made sure I remember that name. I'm going, Mark, what's up, baby? And you were like, hey, you're probably like, who the heck's this guy? But you were so nice, and we took pictures together. We're hanging out, at the little Niner spot that they had set up, for their NBC show, whatever, and and I think that was the first time we kind of crossed paths, and I had the chance to finally meet you and stuff, and then kept seeing you around. I was always, Mark, what's up, Mark?
And when it comes to being 49er Mark, as I mentioned earlier, that's actually the real whole purpose of being 49er Mark. it's not to get seen or all this, although that's the lucky part of it. But I've met you. We've now all the last year and a half. How many times we've run into each other? Hi, bro. How you doing?
Man, you all
how,
over,
how
man.
you
You can't
been?
miss her. You can't miss this guy, Faithful. He's always in the blue lot 1,
But-
2, and 3. He's in the green lot 1, 2, and 3. And he's just all over the building. And Levi, he's either on the field or he's in the stands. You'll see him everywhere. And I mean, you can't miss him. Like I said,
meet the people.
you're always out there presenting and representing. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we love about you, man. And that's why I was so excited to have you here on the 49 Street Squad, man. I gotta get this brother on one of these days, man. I gotta get him on.
Hopefully probably sit hi to a lot of new fans this season. And it's the whole spectrum. It's from just meeting you once to like Tone. I know, he plays softball. I know, he's got his wonderful wife. He's got his kids. His son plays football. Tone helps coach him up. So it's the spectrum. Meeting you, saying hello to you're actually now a part of my life. Maybe I'm a little bit a part of your life because we know things about each other. And if anything encompasses 49er Mark, it's that whole spectrum of hello to we're family friends now. Really, it's not just faithful; it's family, faithful family.
Yeah, well, I think you've grown into a position for the Niner faithful as a, I want to say, Niner ambassador. Because like I said, I put you up there, man, like with Banjo, man, and even my right hand man here, Tony. He's been around, the Niners for all his life. You know what I'm saying? And Tony will tell you, I'm sure you remember back in the Candlestick days, he had the Niner Red Zone, back in Empire Road days, and him and Jose always turning it out. It was always a party, at Bella Production, man. I'm telling you, it was lit.
And actually, I got to give a lot of thanks to Tony too, because I think through him, whether it was Dave Canal or some of the other guys, if I got on a video, it was probably because Tone was like, Mark, get in here. Come here, Mark. Get over here. So I owe a lot of credibility to Tone too.
Right.
He's helped me out.
Yeah, Mark,
definitely.
your family, man. You know that we've had numerous talks through the years, and you're a family man as well, and you're always bringing great people and energy to the tailgate. You're also working with the Bay Tiger on the videos. I think it's an awesome thing to just get the tailgate videos out there and let people know. Hey, Gloria, let people know that what you're doing, and it's all positive. It's all we've been on the road, man. I mean, I was on the road. A fun story was we were in Green Bay. It's like 30 degrees, maybe even lower than that. I was cold. And Mark brings the Pope of Green Bay out. So it's him and this guy, and they do this. Yeah. That was awesome. And he had a business card of him being the Pope.
Yeah. I actually still got that business card.
Yeah. Where's that guy? Show him that picture, because that was.
Show that picture.
That
all right.
awesome.
Show us. Yes.
There it is. There it is. Yeah, there he is right there. That guy came out.
I actually sent Vince through his wife. Her name was Cheese Louise.
Cheese Louise.
Okay.
Cheese Louise.
Fantastic 55 Ford car, all decked out, painted with all the greats from Green Bay. Yeah. St. Vince. Meeting those fans. Awesome. Meeting those fans. That's the cool.
Man, Green Bay was an amazing trip. And then, like, Mark, what games are you going to this year?
I was just telling Chili Will that I might have to surprise the wife and tell her we're going to Chicago.
If she's watching you live, she's not surprised anymore.
You know who's doing Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Come on, Mark. Come on, Mark.
Dude, I know every party you're throwing.
Come on,
That's
Mark.
always the first party.
It's gonna be fire. It's gonna be the new Chicago fire, brother.
Here's the fun fact about Chicago. The meet and greet has a softball cage in it. So we're going to get down and we're going to see who's got softball skills at 2 a.m.
and only two beers in. Only 2 beers in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of 2 a.m. Are they open that late?
They have the softball cage till 2 a.m. Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow. Man,
so
it's gonna be some good fun.
It's gonna be fun. We're gonna do something with it. I think it's Sluggers is a cool venue. They have we have a section for the Niner Empire and every fan that is coming out. Jose Santana is going to perform. My boy JMO is going to DJ it. We got a lot of good things happening, and and then the pizza out there. They got good pizza, Mark. You gotta
deep dish, right?
Deep dish. And I just was watching Barstool Sports, and so right in Wrigleyville there's a place called Zaza's, and they just ranked it like an 8.2 for their pizza out of 10. So we might have to try Zaza's as well.
Oh yeah, we will. We're gonna hit that up, man. We're gonna hit that up for sure.
I think almost every away game I've gone to, there's an invasion party. It's only the ones that held by Tone that I've ever been to.
You come on, man! Don't come on!
I told you, boy. Tony be a fire, brother.
We're gonna have Mark
guys in the building. Forget it.
We're gonna have Mark on the performance, man. Come on, Mark. You gotta come on the performance. Last time Green Bay, you were in the performance.
We were there singing and dancing when we were in Green Bay, up there behind the DJ. We were there, and we were pointing out at Matt Mayoko was there.
Yeah. Matt will be back.
The boy,
Chili Will. This is gonna be another fun one. I actually met Chili Will in Chicago, and him and his wife, Niner Glow, awesome, and we've been friends ever since. And, that Chicago game last year on Halloween weekend really was what pivoted our season. I mean, because when we were going to Chicago, I wasn't thinking, hey, this team will be in the championship game. So, Chicago there's a lot of love out there. And this is the connections and the way that everybody gets along. We'll probably find a karaoke bar, Mark, and sing it out. You know what I mean? Who knows?
You don't want to hear me sing,
That's
but
right.
I'll sit there and I'll be your backup dancer.
That's right. You know he's the BBD guy, right?
Don't play Bell.
Some poison. Don't put on some poison. This game over. I'm just telling you right now. Shoot.
Good times, man.
Chicago's going to be a great way to kick off the season. I mean,
oh man, it is.
They're not even going to be. They're not going to touch us.
I might have 2 tackles and a sack in that game. I don't know, Mark.
I might get an interception from row 5.
Yeah.
Fair, they might have to bring some of his fans out on the game, right?
Yeah. I'll do my part in the stands.
Exactly.
It's
Speaking
a September game, right? So
go ahead.
What's the weather like in September in Chicago? We're going to have good weather this year?
It should be nice. I think it should be fairly nice.
So.
When we went in October last year, it was pretty nice. I mean, a little chilly at night, but it was during the day it was nice.
They were
5
saying
years ago.
70s.
Yeah.
We were going to go out there.
That's a good time of season to go, because as long as it ain't winter time, you don't want to mess with the winter in Chicago, man. It'll cut you up.
We were going to go out there, and we didn't go, and it ended up being like 75 degrees. And I was like, oh man, look at that. And then the following year, I said, come on, let's go. And then I think that was the year that I had volunteered, because when they had Super Bowl 50. And so I was one of the Super Bowl volunteers in San Francisco. And I just didn't feel right about not giving it up, especially they gave us a bunch of swag. And then it completely was raining and sleeting and cold as hell. I think I remember some pictures of you, Tone. You guys were looked like drenched ducks, or chickens or geese or something. You guys, that's how wet it was, sleety. And then the third year, it was like, let's go. It's going to be good again. And then it was snowed. And then we didn't go for COVID. And then I keep telling my wife, we should go. And she goes, you know what? She goes, if we don't go earlier in the season, it's going to be terrible weather, because it's just going to dump on us, because it already had that one really, really nice game. And I'm like, well, let's just go.
Yeah. Hey, man, Chicago's a beautiful city, man. And like Antonio said, man, it's just it's always happening, man. Always have a great time. It's always a good turnout, in Chicago. And I'm sure it's going to be a real big turnout. I think we're going to have one of the biggest turnouts in Chicago this in 3 more weeks, right? It's gonna be crazy.
I'm getting nervous. Just planning this thing was crazy. Getting on the calls. Doing some of the legwork with Raj and with some of the Chicago chapters and Brian Bauer and just putting this thing together and making sure that it was, right, and for the fans. I'm excited about it. The love I have for Chicago, this will be my 5th time there, sixth time in Chicago, because I did make a stop on that Green Bay game and stayed one night in Chicago, and it's kind of there's some like love for that city there, and one of the things that is funny in that
you like that gangster action. I know you.
Actually, no. I actually
going, boy, Untouchables. Come on.
I like the movies. I'm not trying to get in any trouble in Chicago, man. They don't play. You go to. I'm not trying to take the train to the wrong areas, but but I will say that snow game, they still make fun of me on that snow game, Mark, because I missed my first tailgate. Because I was in my hotel room and I was looking out the room and I did a live zooming in on the tailgate, and they're like, "Bro, are you seriously not going to come to the tailgate?" I was like, "This is kind of like a VIP." It was coming down.
Yeah.
And, fun fact,
real Chicago weather right there. That's when you're supposed to be out there at the tailgates enjoying yourself.
I was like, man, I was
slipping all over the place.
I'm a Cali boy.
I would have had to find you, because if it's raining, that's my number one nemesis. If I go to any away game or even a home game, how much is it raining? Because the face paint, it's only slightly waterproof. I've never really been caught in a downpour, and I'd hate to find out. I look like that girl from Carrie in that movie.
You gotta be battle tested, man. See if you're ready for all that. Yeah, Chicago ain't no joke. It comes to weather.
Yeah, Chicago's going to be a good one to start it off.
Yeah, it's going to be nice because we're going in a good time of season, because it should still be really nice. Indian summer.
Yeah,
it's going to be all right.
70s.
We the fans, there's a lot of things that maybe we don't realize or we don't think about it, because we get to go to Chicago or wherever it is, and we get to go to these really cool invasion parties like that Tone throws, and we get in there and we see everybody, and everybody's saying hi and high fives and hugs and bro and sis, and we don't really realize how much work guys like Tone and Raj, and hey Raj, how you doing? I love Raj too. His wife Aurora.
Everybody knows Raj, man.
We don't realize how much work that they really go through, and Tone's just talking about it right now and being nervous about putting it together. We got to give you props, man.
That's a big ordeal, man. That's a big event, man.
Thank you. It's for you guys, man. It's for the fans. It's totally something that I love doing. It's bringing people together. Look I met Chili Will out there. I met you many years ago, Mark, and we've been rolling solid since, right? It's just the way it goes. If you want to travel, I would say, as a kid, I would be like, oh man, Disneyland would be cool. When I was a kid, I was like, take me to Candlestick. I rather tailgate, like this was like the fun things that you love to do. But then when you're welcomed like that, and you have a place where everybody's going to be at, you start meeting everybody. And now with social media, you just add in everybody on your IGs. And then Mark, you're in every Niner video. How many videos have they got you in the corner? You're on calendars. You're in the background yelling, blurred out.
Thank
clear.
you. I'm like, bro, I don't think he even knows.
Yeah, are they sending you a check, Mark? Are they sending you the money?
I wish. No, it's all for love, baby. It's all for love.
I'm telling you, I thought he was actually. I thought he was part of the corporation up there in Niner, land for a while. Because I was like, man, this brother's like, he's all around the Joe Montana's, right? He's around all these players and at these events. I'm going like, man.
Hey, I thought Sourdough Sam was going to be a free agent. I was like.
Hey, Sourdough
like
Sam,
Mark.
He's our guy. We love Sourdough Sam.
I'm playing with you, man.
The three of us, we all had a good time in LA, because when Eric Davis was upstairs, and we all the three of us were up there with Eric. We had them all to ourselves, and then we were, peppering them with questions, and then we were taking our own group shots of each other and with Eric. But times, man, those are good times.
Yeah,
fun times,
man. And we're gonna have a lot more of those times, man. Trust me, it's coming. It's happening. You know what I'm saying?
Solid stories we found out that day too.
Yeah, I know. Can you imagine? I'd love to have him on our show, boy. We'd probably be on for hours. Listening to it, because Eric Davis, when he gets to rolling and talking about some stories, man, he gonna tell you some. He gonna tell you some stuff. So
I belong to a small little local Santa Clara booster club. It's probably the original booster club. It was run by one of the members. I shouldn't say it was run by, but it included Niner Jan. Tone might know the
I
stories about
remember
Nina
Nina
Jan.
Jan. She passed, right? She
Yeah.
was Nina Jan was before there was a MySpace, before there was a Facebook. She was on a message board. It was the message board that she was really known for. It was the 49ers.com message board, I believe it was. And then she was a big name to the organization. I think when she passed, they even posted her on the website and everything.
Well, the Yorks and the DeBartolos all went to her funeral.
Yeah.
But the thing with Nina Jan, so the booster club I belong to, small local, but we get alumni players, and they come to our dinner. We only meet once a month, and at the local pizza place here in Santa Clara. But hearing these alumni players talk, they give you their insights. But more than that, they also give you some of their life stories. And I can't even remember what it was, but we had Eric Wright before the pandemic, and the guy made me cry.
Wow.
Cry listening to his stories.
He's a nice guy. I met him. Yeah.
But we always have to remember, see, the thing about the catch, everybody remembers the catch, but what they don't remember, there was still about 50 seconds left on the clock.
Shoelace tackle.
And yes, that if that tackle hadn't been made, who knows what would have happened. And I believe it was Eric Wright that made that tackle. He grabbed him from behind and got him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I just watched that game too not too long ago. It was on NFL Network, and I was like, oh man, NFC Championship, I gotta watch this, and you're right. There was still a lot of time in that clock, and it wasn't over. It was a close game.
Yeah, everybody thinks that we won and it was done when the catch was done. No, there was still that 50 seconds or so left on there.
Yep.
And these guys bring a lot of stories, about how they practiced, how the locker room was set, the tone in there, what was the expectations. Their pros and cons, how they're interacted. It's really great to be able to have any opportunity to listen to these our esteemed alumni, Super Bowl alumni, or any of them.
Yeah, that's why I would love to get some of them guys on the show, man. Because, like I said, I know they have some great, football stories, especially in their career days, and things that they've been up against, and as fans, we see them every Sunday. They go out there and play and everything, but it's like behind the scenes, what do we know or understand what they've probably had to face and have challenges with, personal challenges? I mean, I know you guys know Jesse Sapulu. I didn't know for years he was playing with like a bad heart.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. There was a whole little. I can't remember how it was not too long ago, but. A little story on him, and he was talking, and I think he actually had a book out or something too. But yeah, he was talking a little bit about back in the days. He was dealing with like some kind of little heart condition and stuff. That he was actually still playing. Well, he had this heart condition. So it was really kind of moving because I never knew it neither. I was kind of like, wow, like man, Jesse, man, was putting it out there. You know what I'm saying? So
he's doing a lot of great work.
Yeah,
with the in Hawaii. And with his league that trains and helps develop high school players in Samoa also. And then I think he runs camps to the country. So he's doing a lot of good work out there as an alumni representing the 49er.
Yeah. A lot of it's great that a lot of those guys they give back to the community a lot, and they contribute a lot to the community, which is really awesome. I mean, and I think that's one of the things that I really love and appreciate these 49er football players, and maybe a lot of them don't get a lot of clout about, but they're always giving back to the communities, which is really awesome to see, and great to see the little specials and things that some of these players like Eric Armstead. I think he just got like a big award for that.
He got for community relations for Sacramento.
Yeah. So you see, that's always awesome to see these players giving back. Now I been having so much fun. I mean, I was kind of going to ask you guys a little bit now, going to our Niners, preseason and stuff. And Antonio, I haven't had the chance to really talk with you, my man. Busy. So I was just going to ask the both of you guys, based on so far the two preseason games, what kind of things have you taken away from those games, and what do you like, what you don't like, what do you see in some players, and any ones you're excited about or excited to see, I'll let you go. I'll let you go, Mark, first, if because you are my special guest. But
Well, Tone's got the football knowledge. I know he's got the
oh,
scheme,
okay,
and he's
Antonio,
got the
go
depth.
ahead, man. Yeah, Antonio will be breaking it down.
I like our rookie running backs right now, man. I think and seeing this young offensive line, some of these guys that they're going to be plugging in, I think those are the two things that are going to be important this season. And I think that our defense is looking really solid. So you just all we can do is hope everybody is healthy because that is the game changer right there every year. And just making sure guys are getting their reps in. It's going to be the whole year. The talk is going to be about Trey Lance. All eyes are on Trey Lance.
Oh yeah, the scope is on this boy big time. I mean, from what everybody's saying about it, some folks are already picking that to go to the Super Bowl. I mean, that's how.
I don't like that talk because I will tell you guys why.
Neither.
I get my heart broke when the news or when the media backs up this team. And in the past we've had letdown seasons where we had high expectations, and I think players play a little, they don't want it as much when the media has their back. I like coming up and no one seeing us coming. Those are the teams that we've seen. Yeah, like last year. I like that. I think that when you play with a chip on your shoulder and you play where with your team bonds together more. I hope that they just I think that Shanahan and this coaching staff has it down now. I think that they're going to have these guys ready, but that worries me. I don't get caught up in the media telling us we're going to go to the Super Bowl. Although I might book my flights next week. I don't know that they're cheap. I don't know.
That's right, baby. That's right.
If you book the flights now, Mark.
Yeah, get it. Get that Airbnb. Get it all.
Yes, indeed. Oh man, yeah, I know you're a running back guy, and I gotta admit, for me, all in all, looking at both games, it's preseason, so it's hard to really take a lot from it. But I like you said, the rookies have been performing well. My man Drake Jackson, I think he's been doing really good. As a matter of fact, he has
a picture of Drake standing next to Kinlaw.
Do I have
Drake's
it?
A big guy. No, there was a picture out there. Drake's a big guy, and he was standing next to Kinlaw, and I was like, "Holy hell!" He doesn't look like a big guy next to Kinlaw. That was an amazing shot.
Yeah, any big guy don't look big against Kinlaw. I'm like 6'3" or 4, and I know I'm looking up at the guy, so I'm kind of like, wow, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Drake Jackson, he had like 24 pass rushing snaps and 4 quarterback pressures, and 2 batted passes at the line. So he's doing really productively, looking good. I mean, those are good, considering those are good numbers, you know what I mean? And hopefully he keeps that up as we get into the regular season, because that was my guy. That was the guy I wanted them to pick, and I was so happy that the Niners had, got their hands on him, because I just knew this boy was going to be a wrecking machine. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. And going back to running back. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, as far as the running backs, I've been really liking what I'm seeing out of TDP Price and then the undrafted kid Mason.
Right, Mason.
I don't know. Mason. And Trey Sermon, man, I don't know. This brother could find himself out, because Sermon hasn't really so far, but a lot of people will say, well, look at the defense he's going up against. He doesn't play against second strings and all this. I'm going,
you don't go just by the game.
Yeah, I'll give you the benefit, because I would like, and as a matter of fact, this next game tomorrow, I would like to see Price, Sermon, and Mason. I would like to see the 3 of those guys hopefully get a chance or two to run with the first stringers, with Lance and everybody, because that's going to really show us, like, okay, who's really bringing the sauce. You know what I'm saying? And but I've been a little. I gotta admit, Sermon was kind of been letting me down a little bit. But I'm like saying, chill, don't get too crazy about it. Let's wait and see. Give the guy a chance.
Jumping off of what you said about the counting the number of running backs. So I got a chance to go to the first. I don't know if you guys made any of the preseason practices that they opened up to the fans. I went to the very first one, that first Wednesday, and I'll tell you the big impression that I had when I walked away, or actually when I walked in and started watching them, the depth that we have on this team. in the only one position group that, in my opinion, and I'm no expert, and I'm just a big fan.
Right.
And I like to be honest. No BS coming from me. I mean, I know we're looking at that interior offensive line, and we're all hoping and we're all concerned, and that might be our thinnest area. But everything else, when I looked at the DB group, I was like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players deep. Look at that linebacker group. We all know about the D line and the running backs, and just depth is the word I'll just stay with at that first practice. And then seeing it we've been playing with our second, third, fourth stringers, and we tore up Minnesota and tore up who did we play that first game? I don't even remember now. But,
Green Bay.
Green Bay, yeah. I mean, they're all playing, looking good. So
I agree.
And of course, like Tone said too, health. Health was the big dog that bit us at the beginning of last year.
Health is
we
the
got
wealth.
Chicago, and that's always going to be it. And we all always say our prayers for that. But for me, health and depth.
I think that's why we overloaded at the running back position, to be honest with you, Mark. It took us like 4 weeks to get it down once Mostert went down last year. Yep. And, Shanahan, it even changed his play callings up, So now, when you have Trey Lance coming in, you're going to need that running game. I don't think you necessarily want to put the game on his shoulders. And that's when we're going to find out about this offensive line, the interior part of the offensive line. But we have a mobile quarterback, so they'll probably roll him out if there's problems there. You know what I mean? So, but you just want him. I don't want Shanahan running him 22 times a game.
Me either. No, please don't do that. Not like that very first game you played him against. What was it, Arizona, or the first game where he ran him. No,
Wildcat.
That's not.
He's run the Wildcat, man.
He was calling plays like my son in Madden right now. I was like, "Hey, is my son in the booth?"
Like you said, we lost Mostert last year, and then Mitchell stepped in, and then we lost Mitchell.
Yeah.
And then Hasty went down.
Wilson was already banged up,
Right. So everybody always says
that's why Debo got a new promotion to running back.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
right.
I mean, that was it was a good move on Kyle's part, and willingly, Debo did a great job. Filling in for running back position because he was really great at it. I think he actually played running back at one time. They said back in, I don't know, high school or whatever, but he did a great job. And I think that was very key for the Niners last season. What he brought being a running back for this team, because nobody expected that. This guy's a receiver. Nobody expecting Debo to run with the ball. Come on, And so, now he found out he's good about it.
Like for me, a lot of the reading. So I like Tone. I know is super into the football game of the scheme and the players and the roles. Me as a fan, I love football myself, and I played a little bit when I was, in high school, and then I told you I was playing in England. But I do a lot of reading. I do a lot of kind of not research, but I take in and I choose what information I want to listen to and what I believe in. But from what I'm getting, we should probably try to do everything we can to keep this whole group of backs. And I would rather have more backs. And then looking at our receiver group, we got the solid 5 or 6. And then, if you can tell me I'm going to keep a receiver like, say, Mac or T. Martin or one of those guys because of their special teams role, those guys are good. No bad words against them at all. But I'd rather keep that running back slot and have that 6th running back or 5th running back. Besides Juszczyk, and then maybe be a little light because you know what? If we somehow happen to need an extra wide receiver, we can always we have a choice of 3. But I definitely don't want to see Mason get let go. He's not going to make it through to the practice squad. There's just no way unless they offer him a ton of money and he says no. And I don't know the ins and outs of how a team chooses you and wants to pick you up, and if you can still say no. But
I think they have to cut them. Don't they have to cut them first and then make sure no one picks them? I mean, hopefully no one picks them up, and then they could bring them back on the practice squad. So, that's gonna be the big thing. And I know a lot of people got their eyes on Mason, and they've been watching this brother. And he's, he's always running downhill, man. I mean, every time he gets to that line, he's getting that extra yard or 2 or 3. Every time.
And I guess Wilson's been looking good in practice because we haven't seen him in a game yet. But they say he's looking good, but we haven't seen it.
I trust in Wilson Jr. I trust in Wilson Jr. I think that he can carry the load if needed. Let's talk Elijah Mitchell too, right? Like he's missed a lot of games last year. He should have been well over 1,000 yards rushing. And, a lot of guys coming out of college, they can't handle the extra games in the NFL, especially going into the playoffs. And they have to work out differently. You're getting banged up. And, I hope Elijah Mitchell has a healthy year because he is solid. But I also think that the running back position in the NFL is a rotating position. I think when you look at the game now from our seat in the stands, it's a momentum game, especially if you're on the road. Like I can tell you when the momentum is shifting, and we need the running game to keep the momentum, to take care of that clock on offense. And, in a weird way, it's strategically keeping everybody safe and healthy because you're not on defense all day. You're not passing all day. So, running that clock tires out a D, and it takes control of, the offensive clock time and time of possession. So those are the things that I always think of. I played running back in high school, and if I had some of these big guys blocking for me, who knows? I'd probably,
He'd be the 1,000-yard runner.
Yeah, I was just, but you think of that in your head, and and when I do watch the game, Mark, I do break down a lot of what the running back position, because see what happens is if our offensive line is not doing well, then they got to hold Kittle back to block. Then they need to go and put our running backs into a blocking position where you only have two wideouts that you can pick from. You don't have a lot of guys able to, and I think Lance is going to be looking down.
Right.
Tight end sits. And so then it affects, because that's what was happening with Kittle in the beginning of the year. That's why his season started bursting mid-year. Like, he had to stay back and block. And so, we're going to get McGlinchey back. We're going to get a couple of guys back.
And even when Kittle got his chances to go out and catch, he'd catch it, and then you could just see the extra effort of him trying to run between two or three guys, and then that's when he got hurt.
Right.
That extra effort,
man.
Because when he got the chance, he because he wasn't blocking, he gave it all his all, as he does anyway. But
I think go ahead.
And Shanahan's scheme, the way he calls plays, I think he wants that stable of 5 or 6 running backs to do different things, different roles, and I think they can all do the same thing, but they're going to have their different roles, but the way he calls it, and that will keep him fresh too. And when one or two goes down, I think that changes the way he calls.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, Kyle loves running the ball, and Antonio touched on it. When we're rushing the ball over 30 times, that's usually a win for us. 40 times. Most of the time, that's going to be a win for us because, like Antonio said, you're keeping the defense out there longer. They're getting tired, chasing around everybody. You know what I'm saying? Now we have a deep running back, depth right now. And if anybody does get hurt, at least we got that other guy to go to because we know what they bring to the table. I think this is going to be probably the first year we're so strong at running back as far as the depth and what we have, that position and defensive backs. Because, our defensive backs, as what they're going through already, but we always seem to take a hit every year with our DBs too. So, and look what they did. They went out and bought a lot, went out and got a lot of good free agents for the defensive backfield, and I
think Ward is finally getting Charvarius Ward. I don't think he's just a quarterback. I think he's a shutdown corner.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. He's gonna, dynamically he's gonna change. He's gonna really change our defense. Just his presence alone, because you already got solid. You got Emmanuel Mosley on one side, and we know how he is. He's a very solid cornerback. Now you bring in Charvarius Ward. This is a guy that shut down freaking what's homeboy from Arizona, the receiver, good guy they got.
You mean the one that don't play that much?
No, he plays. He played a lot. What's that boy's name? He came from Houston. He went to Arizona. Remember? He made the.
Oh yeah. He got suspended.
He was hurt last year.
Hopkins.
He was hurt too.
Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins.
There you
go.
Yeah, Ward was all in his cup of tea. He couldn't get a pass completed on him, and he's a good receiver. So we got a good shutdown corner now, and if these guys, like you said, can stay healthy, that's going to just make our defense even much more solid. I mean, because the front seven, we know we're good. We're deep in the front seven. It's that secondary, though, we got to worry about because that's where we always take all the hits, for as
I was real worried about the loss of Kwan Williams, as our nickelback.
Right.
But I think we found the replacement.
Yeah, I think we're going to be fine there. And then, the big one that no one's talking about is Jason Verrett checks in week 4. And I love the fact that we signed him again. And I think, was it a knee or Achilles that he had injury? Was it the knee?
I think it was ACL. Yeah.
ACL. Yeah. So, I'm glad that he's back. That happened early in the season. So he's had a year now, and then he's going to have some change to recover from that. I think that, he brings in an experience, and he was having a heck of a season prior to being injured. So even if you put him in the slot, you got some guys you got some guys that can fly. And anybody that has dreads coming out of the back of their helmet, they're going to be really good. You know what I mean? That's I'm like, man, I got to grow my hair out in the helmet.
Wait,
the guy with the dreads.
Does the Hufanga's hair, does that count as dreads?
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's
what's his name? The safety from Pittsburgh. He just got that look.
Troy Palomano,
Yeah,
he's got the Joe Montana curls. When I played, they didn't even let you have hair come out. They're like, hey, we don't do that here. We're going to cut that. They had scissors on the field. I had a tail. I thought it was cool. They're like, that's coming off, man.
And when I played, you had to have a neck roll.
For them players to grab on, is your hair sticking out.
Pads had to come up to your ears.
Yeah. Tom Rathman.
But when you were talking about Nickelback, Samuel Womack has been looking really good too. This kid's been really impressive, man. And this kid, he just like natural. He's got great cover skills.
They talk about those horror movies, the 6 Faces of Eve or 2 Faces of Eve. I'm kind of like that as a fan because everybody sees me as energetic and optimistic. And when I see things going on with the team, I actually want to just go into low-key mode. I have a strong belief in what's happening. But at the same time, I don't want to let it all out just in case.
Right.
So I'm always, like being at the game is one thing, being around all the other fans, you keep that energy level for everybody. But, if I'm home watching the game, I'm like, or if I'm talking to somebody one-on-one, I'll be like, I believe. I'm a firm believer. I'll always have that deep belief. But at the same time, I'm like, we're just waiting to see how it goes. But I think this team is strong this year, really strong. And,
let me ask you guys this question. This one thing one topic I wanted to get your opinion on. Of course, it's going back to the quarterbacks. Now, Trey Lance is coming in. It's going to be his full first year starting, but we still have Jimmy G lingering around. He hasn't been picked up by anybody. We don't know if he's going to, come next week, if he's going to get that cut. They're just going to let him go. But, and I kind of heard this on a radio station. It was a kind of good point. But, people were saying, like, would you rather, if you had the choice to keep Jimmy G as a number 2 backup and let Sudfeld and Purdy go, or would you rather have Sudfeld and Purdy, part of the team and let Jimmy go? Because think about it now before you answer that question, because we all know what Jimmy has done for us and what he hasn't done, but we know what he brings to the table, right? He's got the experience of 3 years. He's been to the NFC Championship twice, been to the Super Bowl once, okay? And would you rather have somebody that's more qualified to back up your quarterback, Trey Lance, or would you rather just say, nah, just let him go? We're just going to ride or die with what these new guys, what we have, because we don't know what Sudfeld and Purdy. I mean, them guys been looking good in the preseason game, but being in the live NFL game, we don't really know what they possess. You know what I'm saying? Until they're proven. But I just want to know what your guys' thoughts are on that. Would you rather have Jimmy or no? Because Jed York said, I'm cool if Jimmy's still staying here. Did he say that?
Gamesmanship, though. I tell you what, for me, do what's best for the team. Whatever that answer is, you always do what's best for the team. And that's why I'm also a believer in this front office and this coaching staff. You do what's best for the team, and they hold everything close to their hearts. They don't show their cards. And the problem is when they speak, the fans don't want to listen. They said Jimmy G was not going to be our quarterback in the future, that Trey was going to be the quarterback. And we had to all listen this whole summer. Oh, I don't think they mean that. It's like, no, they said it. Why aren't you just believing that?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a Jimmy G hater at all. We are all lucky to have Jimmy G come in when he did, do what he did for our team. He was an integral part of the offense. I don't think he alone took us to Super Bowls or NFC championships. I think the team, the defense, the running game, but they're all part of it. So by no means, no matter what my answer is, I never would hate on Jimmy G. But nothing but thanks and props, Jimmy, for being our quarterback. But again, if I could be wrong, we have Jimmy G right now under the cap. I think they could play the year under the cap. And could you just, a contrarian view or a far left field for me is, could you just not keep Jimmy G on the sideline in your pocket, like that hidden card or that extra beer that Tone always has in his pocket or his jacket? It's hidden, it's there. We got it just in case. And
just in case.
I say, could you keep him there? And if Trey got hurt, would he be useful?
Yeah, if Trey gets hurt, are we going to put our trust in Purdy and Sudfeld and think that, okay, this guy's going to do it for us? Are we still going to the playoffs? Would you rather go to the playoffs with Jimmy?
Here's my thing. Guys.
Okay, break it down.
This is what it comes down to. And if I'm in the front office, I'm not listening to any of the fans. Do we want something for Jimmy? Yes, they wanted a second rounder. They played a little bit. They hid his injury. Teams didn't want to touch it. They wanted to see what was really going on. He supposedly is healthy now. Now he's on the books. Regardless, if we wanted to get rid of Jimmy, it would have been before the draft.
Covered, right, from 1 year.
Yeah, so he's on the books. And if we release him now, why? There's no need. He's already on the books. We're already paying for him. So here's my thought process. Let's go back to the 2 years that Jimmy G got injured and our season was over. If Eddie DeBartolo was owning that team, they'd be on the phone looking for someone off the street. Shanahan had Bethard and he had Mullins. And those guys, we wasted 2 seasons of Jimmy being injured with those guys. And I mean, we have this team. Everybody's under contract only for a certain amount of time. And I think the team right now, the guys we got are solid. We need to have a backup that can come in and not end our season if something happens. That's my fear. That's my selfishness of it. And, people aren't going to like it because if that's the case, Jimmy G doesn't, he gets basically cut next year. We don't get nothing for him. But if we don't hang on to him until a team has an injury at quarterback and we get something for him, that's all we can hope for at this point. But as far as Jimmy G being a professional, I mean, the man is solid. I mean, you went to the practice. They're looking behind the stands because Jimmy G's practicing behind the stands. And this is just, for me, you just have to have that insurance. I believe our season is so delicate right now at the quarterback position that it doesn't, if we win a Super Bowl and we have to, let Jimmy go next year, hey, so be it. I rather sleep good at night knowing our season isn't going to be in Purdy's hands. You know what I mean? If something happens.
But Sudfeld's look really good, though. Having said that,
he looks good, but he's been around in the league for some time, and you just sit back and you're like, he hasn't got a shot. Yeah. And here's where the fans have to understand: when you go up and get a quarterback at number 3, you're not going to let him sit 2 years in a row. This ain't the Steve Young times, right? These guys are on the books getting paid. And if you're picking number 3, that guy needs to come in and start immediately. So I do like the fact that, Shanahan gave, him a year to sit back. But you also look at, what happens if Jimmy G wins that Super Bowl last year? Now they're in a serious dilemma. You know what I mean? Now you don't let Jimmy G go. Look what happened with Drew Brees when they let Drew Brees go from the Chargers, right? Like, that's my fear. Those are the things that I look at. Like, Drew Brees became a Hall of Famer after that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to walk away and people say, well, 49er Mark didn't answer the question. For me, I'll throw out there, if you keep him, you got the big, big, big awkward factor. That's what I call it, the awkward factor. Personally, I understand why you don't keep him. I understand. I'm actually believe that we should move on. You're going to live or die, because one of the, like Tone said, the problem with our team before was we never had that solid backup. We had Jimmy G, but we didn't have that backup. So as soon as Jimmy G got hurt, which is frequent, then we were screwed. And so why would you want to have another non-solid backup? Again, not anything bad against Sudfeld and Purdy, but but I think in totality of the situation, I do believe, I think my answer would be you move on from him. But having said that, again, that far out process, he's already on the books. We're covering him through the salary cap, but we don't owe him any money until 1 p.m. September 10th. 24 hours of the day before the regular season starts. The only thing that he is he's a roster spot between the 30th and right now too. So we're not paying for him. We could still get rid of him. But I firmly believe we probably should move on. But I could make the argument keeping him in the back pocket. What's wrong with that? Again, it's just our money. The only other thing it harms you is, I believe, the $24 million that we would save on the cap rolled over into next season, which then helps you pay for all of our free agents or need new contracts, next one. So again, it's a balance. What is that front office going to do? Which path are they going to take?
I think Bosa's the biggest guy that we got to sign, and that's coming up. That's coming up.
Yeah, but we got the money for him with the new TV contract. They'll have the money. Bosa will be signed this time, same time as Debo did, right before training camp. But everybody will hem and haw and holler, why don't we sign him now? It's just not the way the front office works. And the front office works. They've been doing it. I believe in them.
Well, good take, gentlemen. I'd really like to hear that. I had to think long and hard about it, and I kind of thought, you know what? Personally, and again, nothing against Jimmy or anybody or the other quarterbacks or anything, I'm really excited about Sudfeld. I saw him in camp, when I went to training camp. He was throwing some beautiful passes, looked really good, and then been excited about Mr. Irrelevant, Brock Purdy, because I was like, let me see what this kid brings to the table, and got to see him play in the pre-games and stuff, and he looked pretty promising. The guy obviously needs to be polished more and get NFL experience, but he's somebody I'd like to still see on the practice squad at least, but like you said, he's covered still for another year. And if the team and everybody didn't have a problem having Jimmy stick around, I'd be all for it. I could start this season as Trey Lance being number one starter and Jimmy being backup if he's open to that. I don't know how he would feel about it personally or anything, but
$26 million would make me feel pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm kind of like, why
Let's
not?
get rid of this.
We got a proven guy. At least, I trust a proven guy than an unproven guy.
Right. These guys are competitive. They don't want to sit. They don't want to sit.
Well, it's unfair to Jimmy's career at his age to put him on the bench and not give him the opportunity to play for someone. I get it. That's like this new NFL way. But we come from a time where we had Joe Montana, Steve Young, and Steve Bono, and we were like, hey, keep them all put. You know what I mean? And the Chiefs got all of them, except for Steve.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Right.
The Chiefs owe us a lot of money right now.
Bono, Rattay,
and Grebeck. You know what I mean? They took Grebeck too. You know what I mean? So we had these guys, and we look at this quarterback stash, and it's Shanahan doesn't play with a big name on the bench, and so I think he needs to get that down, and maybe getting Purdy at the last second is a guy he can develop through the years as a backup, and he doesn't cost much to keep on the roster. But I look at it like where we're at right now and what this defense looks like and what this team is. We went to the championship game last year. Injuries are a part of the game. You just hate to see a quarterback go down in this game. And, we've dealt with that 2 times with Jimmy. And I am very much was frustrated in those 2 seasons, seeing Mullins hoping that he was going to be the guy, seeing Bethard hoping he was going to be the guy. And, that was, and here's the thing, Mark, although I'm a fan, I pay these season tickets and I didn't want to pay for those guys that much.
Yeah, but they already had our money. They had our money at the
they
beginning of the season.
it. I know. I'm like, man, feel like I got my tickets at Nordstrom's. I can't return it. You know what I mean? Like, so those are the things I think about.
I tell a friend of mine, she loves Jimmy G, and and not just because he's a good looking guy, but I tell her, rule number one, team. Number two, the team. So whatever's best for the team, and the team is set. Defense, offense, tight end, of course, secondary, running backs. I mean, I can't believe how complete this team is. Interior O-line, we're still waiting to see, and I love me some Jason Poe. But you're right. If Trey was to get hurt for some reason, who do we put in there that keeps the train moving forward and gets us to that Super Bowl that I think we can get to this year? And if there's a way to do it with Jimmy and you keep it, you be selfish and you say, damn everything else, I could see it. I couldn't argue about it, but at the same time, I understand what you get when you keep them too. The awkward factor.
Exactly.
Well, dangle them mid-season before the trade deadline. I mean, they might have to play Texas Hold'em with Jimmy G, and trade him with the contract, and then trade him. The NFL is funny. There's going to be injured quarterbacks. There are going to be someone making some phone calls. I just think that do the Niners want to go in, because the media, it gives the media a lot of ink, and does Trey Lance feel pressure starting if he has a bad game and the fans are saying put in Jimmy? I mean, I think that's part of the game too. That's part of competition. True,
and you're right. It does bring a lot more ink for the reporters, to run that thing into the ground. But I think it just, at the end of the day, I think it makes a little better sense. But like I said, it would have to be something the whole team would agree on and that not have a problem with. You know what I mean? Plus, I think it gives a chance for Jimmy G, God forbid if anything happens to Trey Lance and Jimmy has to step in. Well, now everybody can see, this guy can play again. His arm's okay. He's throwing great pass. He's looking great. It might help build his credentials for the next following season, and he might actually find himself getting a good deal with another team. You know what I'm saying? Once he's all said and done. But
I'd hate to see the play calling change though, because not that Trey's going to do it all at first. Everybody's like, he's got to control the long ball. Well, Shanahan's not going to become a long ball thrower. He can roll out. Well, Shanahan's not going to just roll out. Shanahan, for the first time, I think he can have control of his whole playbook, and whatever he needs and the situation calls for. I think he can call that with Trey, or the possibility is there. If Jimmy was to come in, you got to maybe have to scale back again.
Mm-hmm.
You need the offensive line to block, because he's not going to be able to roll around, right?
He don't scramble. We all know he don't got no scramble abilities very good. So
my fear is more the growing pains.
He might turn out to be now. You know what I mean? He might maybe he worked on some of that stuff. We just don't know. He might surprise folks. You just never know.
Right. I just don't want to deal with the growing pains too, because we're going to have a big season, and we got the youngster in there, and we're that's the nervous thing too. We need to be. I just hope he gets it and makes plays and makes up for plays for mistakes. You know what I mean? When he's so we're going to be on the edge of our seats this year, guys.
I see this beginning of the season. He can just slow roll himself and get better every game, and I don't think the schedule is as tough at the beginning. And as Kyle said the other day, the quarterback shouldn't make or break this team. So that gives Trey the chance to develop and learn and grow here in the first one quarter to half a season.
Exactly. Well, he's going to get his chance tomorrow, because the Niners play the Texans Thursday night football, and Kyle Shanahan has said he wants to see how he does. He's going to probably play most of the first half with all the starters. Hopefully all the starters. I guess maybe one or two might not be in it, but anyway. But he really wants to see. He said he wants to see how well he executes on his plays, and can he get the team in and out and the huddle right, and call the plays right. And get the ball to the right spot. Those are all the things he says that he's going to really be testing and looking for with Trey Lance. So we'll get to see that tomorrow, which I'm really excited to see, because now, we're going to see our boys play. I mean, it's going to be a first glimpse of really seeing our guys out there coming together, as the starters, and, get ready to ball out. So it's going to be really exciting to watch. And we'll see second half. I'm sure more Sudfeld and Brock Purdy. I'm really excited about Brock Purdy. I think he's this kid just really. I can't put my finger on it, but I think he just kind of got that it factor. But of course, he just needs to be polished some more, But hopefully, he'll.
I don't like it when they compare him to Nick Mullins. I think I love Nick too, but I think he's got a little bit more than Nick.
Brock Purdy.
He's a little more athletic, I think.
Yeah, I think he's way better. He reminds me more of kind of. He kind of reminds me a little Drew
too.
Brees and also and Wilson. He's kind of got that little scrambling ability. He's got some quick kind of shot. He was. If you watch that game against Minnesota Vikings, right? At first he was out there. Some of the receivers dropped some passes, but then when he had to make that drive, all of a sudden it was like a switch came on, and he was just like pop, 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 and I was like, wow. Like something lit his fire. He just started darting these things, and then, unfortunately, he didn't score because he mishandled the ball, but it wasn't his fault because technically Minnesota they jumped sides, right? And
that was a crazy play.
They crossed they crossed the line. So I was just kind of like, damn, I was just like, man, I thought he was gonna take it in there, But I like the kid. Honestly, I like him a little more right now than Sudfeld. Not to take nothing away from Sudfeld, I think he's a great quarterback too, but a little more seasoned. But I just think that Purdy kid, man's got a lot going for him. I think he's going to really be a good, valuable asset as a quarterback for this team in the future. And I think he comes with a lot more quarterback skills like a Trey Lance, not probably as well as him, but the scrambling ability and just knowing how to see the field good, and he's doing all the right things that we like to see. So I hope and pray that he makes the cut. Because the cuts are coming up, man, next Tuesday, right?
I see him as a guy that Shanahan could develop as a backup, and he's cheap to keep on the roster, right? And Shanahan needs a secondary project if he's not going to go in and get someone that is, seasoned. Also, it shows how our depth chart on this team is really good. I mean, we even got the gray man, running a 4-3 out there, so I'm excited to see him on the streak, with the Trey Lance arm. I think this is a factor that, you want to double cover, Debo, you want to bring someone on, Kittle, and, Ayuk, I think is going to have an amazing season. Yep. So this is an exciting we have too many key parts all in play to have a backup quarterback problem. You see what I'm saying? That's where my selfishness comes in, because all these guys are on the books, and we only get them 3-4 years, and then they got to re-sign them again, and who knows where they're gonna, if we can afford everybody. So you got to do it now. When there's that window, you just got to go. And I'm a little selfish with getting this 6-1 mark. After that, I can rest a little bit. Are we going to get a float, Mark? Are we going to ask for the float for the front office?
They better put us on that float.
Yeah.
I will
we're all getting a float.
I will say that I've told my wife and family and friends that when the 49ers win the 6th Super Bowl, I'll probably retire from 49er Mark and be fan Mark instead. Because the main reason is my friend Ryan, who made my ring hat, passed away last year, and I don't know if I feel right getting a ring hat made from somebody else.
I see.
Since 2010, 2011. Sometimes you got to know when your run is your run, and I would trade that 6th Super Bowl for almost anything.
I think we all deserve the jacket, man. We're all gonna just go out on Hall of Fame jackets. I'll retire right with you, Mark. I'm done. My family is like, Dad, you're home on Sunday?
Well, I'm already retired, so I'm ready when you're all ready. So you just let me know. When the floor pulls up at my house, I will jump on it and get on with y'all, and we'll go ahead and have the party, man. There's that Super Bowl
we'll all
party
be in front of that Weber. We'll all be in front of that Weber.
Yeah.
I believe this is going to be a very special year for our guys. I'm so excited. I can't wait. 3 more Sundays. We're going to be in Chicago. Man, ready to kick this thing off, and it's just going to be through the roof. I just have a feeling this season is just going to be through the roof. And
open up at home against Seattle. They kind of suck. Well, they do suck. I mean, what a start! What a start to the season.
Hey, but you know what? I'm telling you something, man. See, everybody's saying this, but don't
I know where you're
take
going. I
these
know where you're
guys
going.
lightly, man. They are a divisional opponent. I get it. Yeah, they have no offensive line. Wilson's gone and everything, but let's go to that chewing bubblegum chewing fool Pete Carroll, man, and he knows us. He knows his team well. He's seen us
So what's
enough.
the factor? Is it the Seattle factor? Is it the Pete Carroll factor? Or was it the Russ Wilson factor that kept beating us?
I want to say a combination of all of it, but sometimes teams can make their adjustments when needed, and I mean, personally, yeah, I hope we just whip their tails. To be honest with you, that's what I want to see both games. I hope we smoke these cats. But you know what? For some reason, I just can't take them or anybody else in this NFC West lightly because we're just divisional. These are teams we play twice a year. We know they know us. We know them. And I expect a good game. I mean, we probably will beat them, but I expect it to be a rather interesting game. Who knows? Might not come out with our best against them that night. I don't know.
I think the home opener is going to be a fired up game, and that's the other thing too. We fly out to Denver shortly after that. I'm going to Denver too, man, and then after that I'm going to stay home for a couple of weeks until LA. But I think that that Seattle game. First of all, I've been to many cities in Seattle. When we played the Niners in Seattle, when I went to the championship game, I've never been disrespected like I was when I was in Seattle. I mean, it was
bad.
It is bad out there. And I mean, we walked in a bar. We were all in red. Some guy in the line says, "Hey, man, not to cause any problems, but this is a Seattle Seahawk bar." And I go, "Who are they?" Next thing you know, we walk in, beers went flying. I didn't even get to go in yet. I was like, "Man, what just happened?"
Hey, Seahawks. What are Seahawks?
So yeah, there is some fan love there, right? So when they come into town, everybody's fired up, and then we can't get rid of Russell Wilson. We got to go see him on week 3, right after this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that'll be interesting. I hope we whip his tail, especially against Denver, because they ain't got nothing going on over there, really. I mean, I heard their O-line isn't really quite intact, and Russell's probably still going to be running for his life. I guarantee you he's going to be on a run. With our defense, man, our defensive end, Bosa.
This defense is going to be key to the entire season,
number one, man. We are going to be number one.
It's going to set the tempo. I mean, you got He-Man on the edge. I mean, the guy has not too many defensive end has full abs like that and legs coming out. Like, I don't even know.
Dude,
what workout program is he on?
I tell everybody that kid's a freak of damn nature, man. That's what a real football player looks like. Bosa.
I'm trying to eat the same time he eats. What is he eating? I'm trying to be on that diet, man. Like, what do they got him on?
I just want to be the size of one of his thighs.
And you're not. That's what's going on.
I want to be the size of one of his thighs.
Right.
He's a freak of nature, man. Bosa, man. I'm telling you. That dude. Oh.
Drake.
Man.
I'm telling you.
If Drake gives you any production more than D Ford could have did, I mean, that's a plus. I mean, anything. I mean, I think Kinlaw's going to have a big year.
Good.
I mean, Kinlaw and then even the guys rotating on that defensive line. Those guys are going to set the tempo for the cornerbacks. Mm-hmm. Our cornerback. Everybody's gonna be like, "Oh my God, we got good cornerbacks." Have you seen our defensive line? That's what sets the tempo of the cornerbacks. If you put pressure on the quarterback, cornerbacks have a ball. And so, I hope Jimmy Ward is ready for week 1. I know he has as a hamstring, and he's such a leader, from early in his career dealing with so many injuries, putting him at free safety, he's been such a leader for this team. And I remember people were saying, why are we going to keep Jimmy Ward? I'm like, no, I think Jimmy Ward would be an excellent safety. And he's been an amazing guy. I love his interviews. I love his leadership. And, I just really like this defense and where we're going.
Pick City.
That's right. Hey, you know what? The Niners just picked up homeboy Tashawn Gibson Sr., and this brother had 132 career starts and 1 Pro Bowl. He's 32 years old, but has started at least 12 games every year since 2015.
Let's go.
And that veteran leadership, that
get it
veteran
on.
experience.
Let's get it on.
Because at some point, even if Jimmy Ward starts out and doesn't play that first game or two, eventually you're going to have to let one player go if you're going to keep the new guy. Or who are you going to keep?
Yeah,
Well, they already let Austin Mack go because he was injured, so he to make room for Tashawn. So they waived him.
Who's going to get cut? That's a big name, guys. That's my question.
Oh, it's like I don't want to let nobody go because man,
they're all going to hurt me. They're all going to hurt me.
Yeah, this is gonna. It's gonna.
I saw a rumor that said Willis could be cut, or not make the cut. Willis from the line.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting because they're trying to figure out the special teams as well, and I think that's how they're going to fit in some of the running backs.
Right.
But guys might not be suited on game day. You know how they do this. It's like, whoa, why is he not suited up? And so, whatever Shanahan's scheme is, it's going to be interesting. But I know our defense is going to be okay. It's some of these guys that are making the team.
We got like a 3 wave of the Red Swarm coming at you this year, brother.
But you know what? To answer your question, Tone, who the fan is, I think we're all going to have one player that's cut that we're all just going to cry over.
Right.
There's that one, whoever it may be. There's going to be that one. Like for me, I do not want to see them lose Mason.
Right. Me too.
Lose Mason. If you think you're going to get Mason on the waiver wire or through the waivers and onto the practice squad, it ain't happening.
Gone. He's going to be gone.
And I'll be so dejected if that happens. And for other people, there's going to be that one player.
Well, you know what? 37 players will be cut by Tuesday deadline, August 30th, man. So hopefully they get about 16 of them on the practice squad back. So that'll leave about 21 that are going to be out there on the market.
Here's the thing, guys. Look at the other teams. This is like the second draft of the season, right? So other teams cut good guys, and some quality guys might be around. So there's the cuts, and then there's who do we cut because we picked up someone else. So this is everybody in the NFL has an eye on everything right now.
Flea market is open.
Flea market is open, man.
And we all know that.
Gary S. Flea market's open. Let's get some players.
Anybody coming from our defense, they're getting a quality player.
Right. Seattle picks up someone every year from us.
I think they do that just to tumble for information.
Everybody from us, man. They all come at. They always got their eye on it. They know how deep we are this year, and a lot of teams, especially all these coaches that just left that are coaching other teams. They're looking at what we got on the market.
Right. I'm excited to see you guys week 1. I cannot wait. Mark, you're booking? Are you for sure?
I might have just surprised the wife. I might have to just do that.
He's gonna go.
Come on, Mark.
I want to go so bad. Now, my wife. You've met my wife. If I told her I want to go to Chicago, I'm going to Chicago. She'll say, fine, go. But I really, really want her to come along because, got to keep that good husband-wife relationships going. But, it's the one that I really, really want to do, and I should just do it. Maybe
we're going to the Giants game too, Mark. We're going. It's the Giants and the Cubs too. So it's the same weekend.
Well, see, my wife's a teacher, so I can't get out on Friday, and I probably got to be back for Monday. So
that's my schedule too.
We all
learned being married to my wife. I learn every day something that I did wrong.
You ain't the only one, brother, man. You ain't the only one, man. I'm telling you. Shoot. Thank God for our wives, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, thank God. I'll hopefully see you out there. That's why the meet and greet's going to be at 4 because the Giants game on Saturday is at like 1. So it's just going to be going to the game and then walking to the meet and greet, which is right across the street.
And you said you're going to both games, right? The Giants game.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out to Friday's game, and then after that, because of the weather, we're gonna go to like Navy Pier. It's Margaritaville, and then there's another after party, like a dinner.
I'm not sure which one I want because I know Gloria said we'll probably only make one of them, so I just don't know which Friday or the Saturday. Which one do you think? Saturday?
Saturday's gonna be the big day. That's the meet and greet day. But the Saturday game, I'll definitely be at that Saturday game. Early, and then everybody's flying in Saturday. A lot of people are flying in
Yeah.
Saturday morning because of work and whatnot on that Friday, and then get on a red eye Monday and get home.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. Oh man, our boys made the top 100. George Kittle came in at 22 and Bosa at 25, which I think was an error. But anyway, we'll find out this coming Sunday who will be the final
Because there's
finals.
still Trent. Trent's still
Yeah,
floating out there.
Trent and Debo. You know Trent's gonna be up there in Debo. I know both of those guys will be up.
You just keep poking the bear. Just keep poking the bear. He didn't get the defensive player of the year and he didn't get the rookie of the year, and now he's where he's at.
Yeah.
Just keep poking him. Just keep poking him.
Exactly. Set that boy on fire so he can just raise all kind of destruction, man. But man, great show, guys. I know I've kept you long. I mean, shoot, this is probably the longest show I think I've ever had. Cause see, that's what happens.
I've been having fun,
man.
I'm having a blast too, man. It's so good to see you guys. I can't wait for the season. I mean, I get chills. It's like the night before Christmas. You know what I mean? Like as a kid, I'm
excited, man. I'm so excited, and I can't wait to get out there in Chicago. We got to have before I go and before I forget, we're gonna have a big show, a big season kickoff show, which will be September 7th at 6:00, and I plan on giving away a pair of tickets for Niner and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm gonna have a raffle giveaway, and guess what? It ain't gonna cost you nothing. And all you got to do is tune in and chime in, watch us have some fun, and we're gonna do a raffle. And I also might give away a Trey Area shirt, T-shirt.
Wow!
Send me that, Chili Will. I'll repost. Send me that.
Yeah, I will. We're gonna set it on fire because that's just how we do it, man. 49 Street Squad, and we're so excited for our guys to get out there, start the season, and everybody's gonna be so amped up, fired up. You name it. It's gonna be crazy in Chicago. It's gonna be crazy. They ain't never gonna see so much red in their life roaming around that town. I'm telling you. So, with that said, I want to say thank you to Mr. 49er Ambassador Mark for the 49ers, man. I'm telling you. You know what? Hopefully one day, I shouldn't get in this, but hopefully one day they're gonna have that. I mean, I know they do special awards for certain, Niner fans now, but they ought to have a Hall of Fame special Niner rep. Fans that are in the museum or something. And Mark, you would definitely be in there.
Oh, Mark's already in.
I wasn't.
I know he's already in, but I mean, if they actually get a picture,
they just took my video off of one of the TVs because they're remodeling. I was like, what? Come on,
Mark is already on it.
You should be on there too. So both of y'all, man, I'm telling you. But great having you guys on. I appreciate your time. And I'm sorry for starting late today. Got back from town a little late, so
take care of your family, bud. Take care of your family.
Yeah, family always comes first, man. And but I appreciate you guys. You guys are family, and I love y'all. We got to do this again, and once the season gets started, man, we got to come together and talk some more great Niner talk. And once the games get going, we're gonna have a lot more to talk about. So it's gonna be fun. But make sure September 7th, guys, tell your friends, everybody, be here to watch the show.
Let's go.
Somebody's going to wear a pair of tickets to see Tom Brady, maybe his last appearance ever in Levi this year. And that's for December 11th. So these tickets are given away. They're for December. So they're not Seahawk tickets. I know everybody's like, Chili, you ain't got Seahawk tickets? Nah, not yet. But who knows? Who knows? Might, you never know what
you could take those and trade them in. No,
don't think that.
I'm just kidding. That Tom Brady game is going to be big.
That's going to be fire, man.
That's going to be playoff.
That's our homeboy
implication game right there. That's not a little ticket right there. That's a big ticket.
Exactly. So that's why I say, I hope to be able to do, hopefully there might be someone watching that never, been to a Niner game, had the chance to, go to a big game like that, and see Tom Brady, one of the greatest, right? So
that's the way to make a fan for sure, right? Get into a big game like that.
Oh yeah. So make sure you guys let everybody know. And again, love y'all. Appreciate you. We're gonna get on up out of here. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next Wednesday on time at 6 p.m. on the show. So you guys take care. Appreciate you.
Well,
49ers.
Good to
you,
see you
Tom.
guys. Good to
Good
see you
to see
guys.
ya.
Mark, good to
Yeah.
see you, brother.
Out.
Chili Will, thank you so much.
All right, my brothers.